Hi everyone, my name is Oscar and I'm a scientist in Boston, Massachusetts. About 3 years ago, I applied for green card under the category of EB-2 NIW or EB-2 National Interest Waiver. This is a category where you can get a green card without having to have a sponsor, and you can self-petition, which means that you can do it without that employer that sponsors you, and you can actually do it yourself without lawyers. Of course, you can choose to have attorneys to represent you and to help you prepare the case, but you don't have to. And in my case, actually, I did it by myself with the help of a few friends that had gone through the process and also the information that I could find online. So for those of you that are interested on doing this yourselves, just know that you can do it. And here in this channel, I will try to give you information that I wish I had when I went through this myself. All right, so in today's video, we are actually going to see a few websites that I think that can help you understanding the EB-2 NIW process, the category of green cards, what the criteria are. Basically, I want you to know which websites are useful, and I always recommend to start with the USCIS official websites. That's why we're here in this website right now. This is one of the first ones that I'm going to show you. In this website, again, this is an official USCIS website. I'll put the link in the description below, so you can all follow the link, and you can actually read the website yourself. And I'll do that with all of the ones that we're going to cover today. So in this first one, this is a website about EB-2. So in general, this second preference of green cards. This is not specific to NIW, it's the whole EB-2 category, but it's good to start here because you need to understand if you are or may be eligible or not for this green card category. You shouldn't go ahead and start preparing for it if you are not eligible. So first, understand this category and understand the criteria that you need to fulfill. So again, the best way of doing this is going to the official source, and this is it. So here you can see, for example, that you need to either have an advanced degree or have exceptional abilities, and it will explain exactly what they mean by each of these, and what is the evidence that you have to really prove that that you are in fact a person of exceptional ability or a person with an advanced degree. So again, you have the criteria exactly listed here. There's no better place to understand the process than the official website. Once you go through those items, make sure that that you read this section, the national interest waiver, because this is the category, the subcategory that we are talking about in this video. So this is the subcategory that will allow you to self-petition that actually go in front of USCIS and with or without a lawyer, but without a sponsor, you will be able to actually petition for permanent residency. So here you can read more about that category. So really important. And once you are done with this and you understand overall what this category is, then I'm going to give you, I think, the most useful website that you can ever come across, which is the second one, this one here. So here it tells you, so this website is actually a manual that the USCIS releases for the USCIS officers to fully understand and have a common um, guide of how to judge the different applications. This chapter, this is you see that this chapter 5 is specific to the advanced degree or exceptional ability category. So this is an EB-2 chapter. Um, so again, this is super important, super useful because this is what a USCIS officers could come and read to understand how to make a decision on a certain case. So here you can understand things like what does advanced degree professional mean? Again, more about eligibility, more about how to decide about foreign equivalent degrees, um, advanced degree positions, and so on. Then, if you don't want to if you don't think that you are eligible based on your advanced degree, you can read about exceptional ability and what the USCIS define as a person of exceptional ability and what evidence you need to provide to actually convince them that you are indeed a person of exceptional ability. And this is one key section of this particular chapter because it explains a little bit how an USCIS officer may look at your case and decide on it. And it's actually a two-step process. They review your case and they assess if you are meeting a certain criterion. So they go one by one. You, of course, in your petition, you will have to claim that you meet a certain criteria and why. So you have to provide evidence. The burden is on you to do that. So they will first assess each of those items that you're claiming that you fulfill. And then in the second step, they will do a final merit determination. That's how they call it. And what that means is they go and look at your overall case and then determine if indeed you are a person of exceptional ability. So really, really important to read about this. You can read about the criteria that they will be looking at, and this is in multiple official websites, but here it is as well, and it will even go into detail on what they mean by final merit determination. So in that table that I show up there, it gives you a brief summary, but here actually they provide a very thorough explanation of what they mean. So once you're done with that, since here we are talking about NIW, I want you to come to this section D, National Interest Waiver of Job Offer. So NIW is National Interest Waiver, and that means that the USCIS, is waiving the requirement for having a job offer, for having a sponsor to your green card. So you want to go through this section and read all about it because here you can find some details that are extremely important when you put together your case, your application. And this is, for example, the very thorough description of what they call the three prongs or the three pillars of the NIW subcategory. And you may be already familiar with them, but in case you aren't, those are number one, the proposed endeavor has both substantial merit and national importance. Again, you have to prove that your endeavor, that what you're going to be working on, has substantial merit and it impacts the US at a national level or is a global impacting endeavor. So that's the first one, and you can read all about it here. So you can read what they mean by substantial merit, which is a little bit generic in nature, but they will provide a description here of what they mean. And then national importance, which in my opinion is a little bit more objective. So you actually have to prove in your cover letter that your work will benefit the nation as a whole and not some part of the nation, some geographical area only. So again, you don't have to take my word for it. You can read here what they mean by that. Then they go into the second prong of the NIW. You have to prove that you are well positioned to advance the proposed endeavor. So again, here you can read what they mean by this. So it's related to your skills, it's related to your to the progress that you have shown in your career, and specifically the progress you have made towards that endeavor. And then it gives you a lot of examples of what type of documentation you can use to back up your claims, to back up those examples of why you are well positioned. So some examples you will be able to read here: degrees, certificates, patents, published articles, peer reviewed articles, also newspaper articles talking about you, evidence that you have influenced your field, and that could be through recommendation letters, plans. You can write plans describing what you intend to do once you're granted this green card. If you're a businessman, it could be a business plan. If you are like me, a scientist, it can be a research plan describing what you plan to do and how that benefits the U.S. Contracts, if you are a person that has your own company. There's a wide range of examples here that you can actually come read carefully and start putting together or start thinking about how you can put together your application. And again, they do mention here that this is not an exhaustive list. So these are just ideas for you to consider, but you may have other ways of proving that you're actually well positioned in your field to execute on the plan that you have. And finally, the third prong of this NIW category is, and I'm going to read it textually, is on balance, it would be beneficial for the United States to waive the job offer and thus the permanent labor certification requirement. Remember that the NIW category, what it means is that because of certain reasons, the US is waiving the requirement for you to show that you have a job, that you have a sponsor with your green card. So you have to, the burden is on you to actually to craft your case very well in a way that you make it clear that this waiving this labor certification will benefit the U.S. So even though you may get a job that a U.S. person could be asking for, that's still okay because your contribution to the U.S. is going to be so important that it doesn't really matter if you're taking a job from someone else. So that's really what this is, and you have to read what they mean here. There's examples of what you need to prove. So one could be that asking for a labor certification application is impractical in your case, or that the benefit that you bring to the U.S. because of your contributions really outweighs the need for protecting the U.S. workers, or there's an urgency in actually having you in the U.S. contributing with your skills. And an example that I can think about this is a person, for example, working on developing vaccines in the middle of a pandemic. So that's really a very strong case here for this third prong of the NIW requirements. So come here, read it. This is official information that the USCIS officers have access to. So you actually are in a prime position to absorb this information and use it to your advantage. The third website, or the third example of websites that I want to give you today is, again, a USCIS.gov website, and you will actually, when you go through this process of preparing your green card application, you will find out that there's a lot of forms that go with it. There's two key forms for the NIW process. One is the I-140, which is the petition for the green card. And then there's the I-485, which is the adjustment of status. Those are the two main ones, but actually you will need more. You will need a specific form for the medical examination. You will need a form if you're eligible for premium processing. There will be a form for that. There's a bunch of them, actually. And the best way to know more about them, what they mean, how to fill the forms, how much it's going to cost you to file those forms is, again, the USCIS website. The USCIS website is your friend, and you shouldn't trust anyone unless they are giving you a link to the official information so you can actually double check it's true. So in this particular case, I'm showing you the I-140 official website. You can see up here what is the address. So if you have a question about a specific website, about a specific form, you can actually come here and modify this I-140 and write, for example, I-485 for adjustment of status, and it will take you to that particular website. So just to give you an overview of how this looks like, you will have the updated form here. This is really important. For example, if you are downloading someone else's application, for example, in my case, I'll show you later how to get my own application. That's really nice. You can see how they did it. You can see how they filled out the form, but never use their forms because they may have filed the application a few years ago, like I did. And the USCIS periodically releases a new version of the forms. And more importantly, they will reject your application if you don't have the most updated form. So always come here, and you can click on this and it will actually open the PDF that you can download. You can fill it out electronically. All right. And never fill this out months in advance. Wait until you are ready to submit. Come here, download it, and do it. Then you'll print it, you sign it, and you put it together with the rest of your package. But as important as the form itself is the instructions for the form. Every form has instructions, and the USCIS has official instructions. So again, here you'll find a bunch of information. You have information on how to fill the form, what other documents should go with it, how much it will cost you, how to pay for it. All those questions are answered here in the instructions, but then also you'll have it in a website format here in the form details section. So you can read about when they release this version of the form, where to file the form. This is extremely important, by the way, because the USCIS has different locations, and depending on what form you're talking about and where you're located, if you're inside or outside the US, if you are in one side of the country or the other, you actually may have to send your forms to one center of the USCIS or another one, or a field office here or there. So always come here, read this carefully, and understand where you have to submit your forms. Very important, filing fees. It will tell you how much it is. For example, for the I-140 is currently $700. It will, if it changes, it will reflect here. And then checklists. So this will help you a lot to understand what you need to add to your form. So, for example, if you're sending a EB-2 NIW application, then you need to come here and see, all right, this is all the evidence that you may want to submit with your application. Okay. So Yeah, and then you always have special instructions and some links that may be useful. So again, USCIS websites are key. They are your friend. You have to go there first to understand what you need to do. And the last website that I'm going to be talking about today is my own website. So this is not an official website. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a scientist. But I am putting together a website that hopefully will help you. This is the information I would like to know. I would have liked to know when I embarked in this journey of green card self-petitioning. So right now, there are a few sections. I have a lot of information as blog posts. I have a website about the basics of the EB-2 NIW category, a contact form, and some downloads. Um, you can read a little bit about me and my story, and of course the central piece is my I-140 petition. So if you want to have a good reference about how to write your I-140, which is the central part of your green card application, you can come here and you will get the different forms that go with the I-140, how I fill them. Of course, I redacted some private information, my addresses and things like that. But then you will get information like the petition cover letter, which in my case it was more than 25 pages, going through all those requirements that the USCIS needs you um, to document to make sure that you fulfill the requirements for this category. So you have to write a story there with supporting information. So that's what the cover letter is. So you can actually see how I did it. So you can do your own if you want. I had some letters of recommendation that helped me write my cover letter. You can read how I did that. My CV is one of the first things you need to put together. You have to strengthen your CV, really put every detail in there so you can then strategize about how to build your cover letter. So you can see how I did that. You do need to justify that your endeavor is of national interest, like the USCIS mentions in the official website. So you can see how I did that. And then I actually had 21 exhibits with a bunch of supporting documentation. So you can see how I structured it, how I did it, what kind of information I provided. So um, you can come here, you can actually download the application as a PDF if you want to save a little bit of money. You can also pay a little bit extra and get all the documents also in Word format. So you can take them, you can modify them and edit them and make them your own if you need to. This is actually a picture of my own application. You can see that it was a pretty thick document, and this was the final result. So anyway, so I hope this is useful. I hope you come to see my website and read through it, all the blog posts. For now, I have a few of them, but you will see that every week there will be more. Some videos as well are coming, and please send me your feedback. I want to read your comments, your questions, so you can help me also put together a better website. But don't forget, always start with uscis.gov. That's the official information. And then, of course, you can go to other websites like mine and try to learn as much as possible so you can make the best case for yourself. That's it. Have a good day and see you in the next video.